My name is Kapish Barry, and I'm an Assistant District Attorney for the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office, currently assigned to the Major Crime Bureau. I was born and raised in Jackson Heights, Queens, to Indian immigrants who came to the borough in the late 70s. Parents were a part of the first wave of Indian immigrants who came to Queens. I'm a first-generation American. I went to public school 69 in Queens, and then I went to IS 145, and then to the High School of Art and Design. I was mostly raised by my mom and my sister. My dad passed early on, so like most immigrants, my mom was working all the time, and it was really my older sister who took me to museums and to shops and to parks. So I was mostly raised by my mom and my sister. So I actually went to 2 law schools. My first law school was Loyola University, New Orleans, and then I got a second law degree at Cardozo Law School. While I was in law school, I was engaged and I had a tremendous amount of interest in criminal law. But besides criminal law, I also had an interest in family law and immigration law, and I wanted to understand the full ramifications of what a criminal defendant has to go through when they have consequences in family court and they may have consequences in immigration court, as well as the current criminal charges. So I really focused my law school career on those 3 fields. And after I graduated, I knew I wanted to join a prosecutor's office because I love trials and I also wanted to advocate for crime victims. So it was the perfect mix of all those topics for me. In the Major Crime Bureau, I'm currently assigned to handle assaults, burglaries, robberies, felony drinking and driving crimes. And within that bureau, I'm also in the VAWA unit, so it's violence against women. But it also, that definition has expanded to include many other victims of sexual assault. So if the victim and the defendant are not married, they don't have kids, they don't live in the same house, or they're strangers, I'm assigned along with a few group of other prosecutors to handle those types of cases. Those cases definitely pose a struggle because when we're talking about sexual assault, it gets very complicated. One of my mentors at the office has said this: it's not the victim justice system, it's the criminal justice system. So these are difficult cases to navigate through, and while I'm assigned to these cases, sometimes I have to wear numerous hats. Sometimes I have to be a counselor, sometimes I have to be a close friend, but at the end of the day, I am an assistant district attorney, and I have to analyze to see if we have enough evidence to prove that burden in court, to prove these cases beyond a reasonable doubt. I've always taken the belief that when you're in public service, whether it's any other public agency, state, federal, whatever, when you're in public service, it's really incumbent of you to engage with the community. We are no longer in the time where any ordinary voter or non-voter, anyone in the community, doesn't have an idea of who their district attorney is, who works under their office. Everyone has connections now, so I think being an assistant district attorney, being in public service, is synonymous with just engaging with the community, getting to know the people in the county, getting to know the people that you serve. That is what this job is about, and that's why I take so much pride in being an assistant district attorney. Being that I'm a part of the Indian community and the LGBT community, I knew that professionally speaking, I wanted to dedicate my life to public service. I wanted to dedicate my life to make a difference in those communities, to care for those vulnerable members of those communities, whether it's any immigrant community or anyone under the LGBT umbrella. I wanted to be a part of pursuing justice for crime victims under those categories. But at the end of the day, it's the defendant who has a case lodged against him or her, and they have their own rights dangling in the distance. So part of what my position is analyzing what justice can be done for the victim that's before us. Justice may mean, it means many different things. It doesn't necessarily mean a conviction and prosecuting someone to the fullest extent of the law. It's taking each case how it is, analyzing its differences, analyzing what we can do in the case. They're not all the same. Everything is a case-by-case basis. Being a part of the district attorney's office and the work that's associated here resonated with me because, again, you're advocating for the community as a whole. You're advocating for public safety. You're advocating for putting people who commit heinous crimes where they belong, off the street. I think the most meaningful part of my work with the District Attorney's Office is community engagement. Whether that's engaging with the victims that come into this office, or whether it's me going to community-based events on my own free time. Part of being a defense attorney is zealously advocating for your client. When you're a prosecutor, that's different. You are zealously advocating for the community. The community is on your shoulders. They are betting on you to pursue justice and to make things right. So when you're a part of the district attorney's office, when you're a part of a public entity, you're working on behalf of the community as a whole, the residents of Suffolk County.